Hey, Bubba Tack here, and it is a cold night in December here in Arkansas, and go ahead and do the outdoor portion of the review for the OLIGHT M20S Warrior. This is the side switch model, and this actual model is the one older version with the XP-G, not the newer XML, and I think there may even be a third iteration of it, I'm not sure. But go ahead and do an outdoor on this with the light up. So we're going to start on the low setting. I believe it's what it's starting out on. And you can see a mailbox down there with the sign on the side that kind of lights up. And then we're going to go ahead and use the side switch, and we're going to go up to medium setting, and you can see quite a bit more down the road there. And then we're going to go to the high setting, and you can see quite a bit. It has real good spill. So there's the mailbox. It's probably, oh, I don't know, 20 yards away. And then, so go ahead and move the camera on over. There's a red sign down there. I don't know how well you can see it. I can't read it from here with this one, but it shines it up pretty nice, a little bit more than some of the other lights that I have. And that's probably maybe 35 yards away, I think. And then on down the road there is a house. You can probably see the lights off in the distance, and just before you get to the house, I think is about 100 yards, and it lights up the road real nice. So pretty good light on this, and we'll go ahead and come back here. Looking down into this ravine out here in front of the house, this sort of valley, and there's a trail that goes down there, and it's probably about 100 yards to the bottom of it, and it lights up pretty good down in there. I can see pretty far. It's pretty thick through there, but I can see pretty far with it. And this has got great spill. I can see to the tops of the trees, just pointing it at a level height and looking to the top of the trees. I can see quite a bit of them, and it lights up real nice. So we'll go ahead and turn it off, and I'll go back to this part. Probably should have done this from the beginning, but here's momentary, and then full click on, and then off, and then go ahead and show you the strobe on high, and it's a real good light. So that was the outdoor portion. We'll go ahead and do a tabletop here and give you some more specs on it. Okay, here's the tabletop portion of the M20S Warrior OLIGHT side switch model LED flashlight. This is the XP-G2 LED model. I believe they had one that was just an XP-G, and then this is the XP-G2, so maybe the second iteration of it. And then there is another one, a newer one that has an XML, and then there may even be a newer one than that. I'll go on record right now and say when I purchased this flashlight, I thought it was the XML version. That was not a misunderstanding on my part. That was how it was marketed and listed on the website. And when I bought it off of Amazon, it was listed as the XML. All the information on there on it was the specifications for the newer, at that time, XML. And I purchased it believing that it was an XML. When it came to me, I found out that it was the less bright XP-G2 and the slightly older model XP-G2. So I called them up, and Amazon was willing to take it back if I returned it and refund my money. What I really wanted them to do was send me the correct model, the XML2, or the XML, I'm sorry. But they said since it was from a third party, they could not send me one to replace it, and if they did even do that, that it probably would just be the same exact thing. So they were willing to refund my money, and I would just go and purchase an actual XML version. The reason why I actually purchased this one was because I believed it was being marketed as an XML, and I was purchasing it for less than $50, and it turned out that it wasn't, that it was the XP-G. And they actually had the XML on there for like nearly $80. So I figured while I was talking to him and weighing my options that keeping it was just easier, because I wouldn't have enough money to get the XML. If I purchased another one in that price range, it was just going to be another XP-G. And I figure, you know, I didn't want to have to go through the hassle of shipping it back to them and being out the flashlight. So I decided just to keep it, and I actually purchased it because it was you know, the 1-inch diameter, and it's part of their weapons light, and I was looking for offerings, and I was looking for an affordable but still okay quality weapons light. So this is what I came up with. Just to go over, that's my spiel on that. So just to go over some specifications real quick, it is 420 lumens on max. It is 252 meters max range. I got questions about that. 85 hours max runtime on low. It is impact resistant to 2 meters, and it meets IPX8 standards and is waterproof to 2 meters. I have not tested it for waterproofness. If you have one, you know, go right ahead and test yours. The fact that it says that it's IPX8 instead of just like some products, just flashlight products just say, hey, this is waterproof. The fact that it says that it complies with IPX8 standards, I think that's pretty cool. I've actually seen some videos of people doing torture tests and independent parties doing a torture test, and there's an interesting video that OLIGHT actually does with a model similar to this, and it is just absolutely wrecked. And until they shoot it, it works perfectly fine, but after they shoot it, it broke. But it worked through everything else, being driven over by a giant truck and being dragged behind a car, being dropped from like 10 stories, being dropped out of a helicopter, and being, you know, shot at with bird shot. Didn't seem to have a problem, but it, you know, eventually went down to something higher caliber. So that kind of sold me on it, or at least got me interested in trying it. So that's why we're here. So we'll go ahead and show you what it came with. It came with this fancy dancy little case, which is, I think, is really neat that it comes with that. Some just come in cardboard boxes, but this actually came in something to protect it and something to store it in, and it's actually foam cutout to match it. So it's just really neat quality. I mean, for what I paid for it, am really surprised. You could probably use this for something else if you wanted to after you got it. Either use the foam as it is or take it out and get more foam. I just think it's really cool that it came with that extra bit of piece of gear. So here's your registration card. I can't even remember if I registered it, to be real honest with you. And then here's the instructions that came with it. Here is the holster that came with. It's kind of got a harder nylon to it, and then it's got a hook and loop back here, and attached to your belt, and then it has this little plastic D-ring. It has side inserts, because I'll show you something here in a second that's inside there. They have these little battery magazines that they have. It's got one in there, and it you know, goes in the sides if you want to have spare batteries. So I think that's kind of neat. And then it's got the little hole in the bottom. So as it rides in there, it looks something like this. If I can get in there right. Looks something like that. It's kind of the top sticking out, and you can actually, if you need to, actuate it, and you can still see out the bottom. So it's pretty good quality. It's not my favorite. I actually prefer an enclosed, because I always worry that's going to get hit, but it's nice that it comes with it. So there's your spare O-rings and your boot, or not boot, but your clicky switch boot, and that's the glow-in-the-dark one. It's kind of nice that it has a spare and it's glow-in-the-dark. There's your lanyard. Nothing special. It's actually kind of shiny. I didn't really care for that part, but it actually I can't off the top of my head remember what else they came with. I don't want to take too much time on that. It had something else I thought it was supposed to come with, and it didn't come with that. And I always wondered about that. There are certain models that come with something additional. I can't remember what that is right now. So your kit may be a little bit different than mine. Some may have maybe a little bit less than that, some may have a little bit more than that. But the fact that it came with all that is just pretty neat to me. So we'll set that aside and let's go ahead and pop her open and throw some cells in there and start trying to show you how it works and stuff. Okay, it's greased pretty well, and there's one of the O-rings. It looks pretty good. It is double springed, since it's one of their weapon slide offerings, affordable weapon slide offerings. There's a spring down in there, and then there's a spring right here. So go ahead and throw the cells in. And here's that magazine I was telling you about. They call it a battery magazine. It's pretty cool. It's the kind of the reason why I got this or was interested in OLIGHT is it has this, so it keeps them from rocking around and making a lot of noise. And I've also tried this in a couple of my other flashlights that didn't come with something like this, and it does work with them. So that's kind of neat, and I think you can actually purchase these separate off of one of their distributors' websites. So that's kind of neat that you have that option. There's a little sign in there that tells you which way to put the batteries. Have that option that it keeps it from rocking around in there because it is bored out to take rechargeables, but also makes it to where you can purchase it separate and use it on other flashlights that you have. So I thought that was pretty cool. So there's your scar grip, another reason why I purchased it, and there's your belt clip. That it came this way with it on. If it was me and it was off in the box, I would have just left it off because I don't really plan on using this in my pocket. First off, it's kind of good size in comparison to some of the other flashlights I carry. Here's your stainless steel crenulated bezel, that's or a castellated bezel. That's pretty cool. And then it is an orange peel reflector, which I really like. I have that on a couple of my other flashlights, and it takes care of the Cree rings and everything. So here's your side switch. It's marked S, and you can actually, hold on a second, let me turn this off. You can actually change that out, like I said, for that glow-in-the-dark one, which is kind of neat. I just like that they give you a spare one in case you need it. So if you push it from off, the side switch on off, it goes to the strobe mode, and then if you go ahead and soft press, I have it in one of the lower modes, but that's your soft press, so momentary. And then if you click it full on, there's your full on. Okay, I think that's the medium setting, and then that's the high setting. And oh, I'm sorry, that was the low setting, medium setting. That's the high setting. Let's go back through that. There's the low setting. I think that's about 5 lumens, maybe a little bit more, maybe 10. It looks a little bit brighter than some of my other ones. That's why I thought it was the medium. And then there's the medium setting, and then there's the bright setting. So that's 420 lumens altogether. So that's pretty good. In my outdoor, it shined pretty good. Not as bright as some of my other ones, not as far as some of my other ones. But for what it is, that's pretty good. So go ahead and turn her off, and there's your strobe again. And when you put this on your weapon, I've heard on these side switch models, when you mount it, you need to mount it with that facing in, set it on what you want, and then face that in, because if that's out, it can get hit and then it'll start going through all the different modes. If you want to be able to have that out there so you can use the strobe, I understand that, but I don't use strobe that much, so it's no big deal to me. Your traction pattern is pretty good. These are kind of boxy. I prefer like it's kind of a boxy grid pattern. I kind of prefer the serrations kind of setup, but that's okay. It's got a military grade finish is what it says. It doesn't get real hot. It does not tail stand, but I do like that kind of has this, I guess, these little castellations to it a little, but it won't tail stand. Other than that, it doesn't make any noise when it rocks back and forth. Other than the fact that it wasn't exactly what I thought I was purchasing, and other than the fact that it wasn't the XML, and that it's a little bit not as bright and a little bit lower than what I was expecting. It has a lot of features and came with a lot of gear, and is pretty much usable as is. I mean, it kind of changes my plans on how bright it was going to be, but using it on a weapon like I was planning on using it, you know, it's going to ride that way. I have a good mount for it, G&G, I believe, or GG&G mount for it that I've tried out with it. So it you know, it's a good flashlight. I recommend it. I know they don't make these anymore. I don't know how available they are. If this sort of quality that I'm seeing is even more so when it comes to the XML, when you get brighter and everything, then yeah, I most definitely recommend it. But kudos to Amazon for actually trying to hook me up after, you know, the mess up and everything. But I just decided to keep it, and I'm pretty happy I did. So that's the review of the OLIGHT M20S Warrior side switch model LED flashlight. Thanks for watching. Bubba Tack